The interesting thing about this fourth variation of the 25th rudiment is that it's kind of like a displaced 5-stroke roll, kinda. That makes sense. So that was kind of one of the challenges, because you have the click, right? But the click is actually the second double, not the first double. And I don't know why, even like mechanically is the same. It's just because it's just displaced, it becomes harder, I guess.
Well, it's different for another reason as well. Pardon me. It's not a 5-stroke roll, but I understand what you're saying, because if you look at the number of notes, it seems like, and there's an accent on the 5th note. But the difference, you tell me, what's the difference? I'll be more Socratic about it. What's the difference?
Appoggiatura, right? I guess.
Yeah. Because a 5-stroke roll is 4 16th notes preceding the accented 8th note, right?
Yeah, this is also 4 16th notes, but it's just the place.
No, it's not, right? That's an Appoggiatura. Right. And so what you have is you have a different speed of doubles. Right? One is more quick, and the other is isn't it? Ba ba da da, ba ba da da, ba ba da da, ba ba da. So one is da da, and the other is da da.
Yeah.
Okay, now go ahead and play a 5-stroke roll. Now they'll all be the same.
Yeah, it's straight, basically.
Now they're all the same in terms of the length of note.
But this is the interesting thing about Appoggiaturas in general, right? Because they're written in the same way, really, right? But they're written as a 16 note, but it's different, right? Because it's an Appoggiatura. Does that make sense?
Yeah, and you'll notice, for instance, at the bottom of the page, when you look at a 4-stroke rough, he's created what is a tie underneath the notes, and often Appoggiaturas are written that way as well. Here they're not, for whatever reason. I think that, and it's strange that I don't see that, and I think that it was Richard Wilson that created the library for Murray. And not that he may have developed the chronology, but he was the one who organized the studio before Murray got to LA from New York. He came to LA ahead of time, prepared the studio, had mirrors, floor to ceiling, created the library with the slots, you know, the old school slots for each different stroke. And so anyway, that's kind of the lineage behind the development of the Murray Spivack Percussion Studio Library. Okay, so, but it's interesting that you notice that it's akin to a 5-stroke roll, the 25th rudiment, 4th iteration. Let's take a look at it. Now, we were playing it pretty slowly, but you were playing it as 8th notes to like 40 to 46. Isn't that where we were?
Yeah. Well, I didn't have a metronome, but yeah, I mean, I think I got it to 72. I think that's what you asked.
Well, that was for the 4th iteration. You were able to get that up to speed, but I thought that what we were doing was a remedial approach to just getting rid of a few of the things that were getting in the way of you really playing the stroke. So just go ahead, let's just take a look at it, and let's see where you are.
So which one you want?
Turn them on it at 46. We're playing the thing as 8th notes.
So which one? The 3rd variation, is that it?
We're talking about, we're going to go through the iterations in order. 1st iteration.
Okay. Again, the speed, 44?
At 46. Okay, so you're actually playing it as written, which is cool. Okay, so you can do it. All right, so let's take a look at this. Here's what I notice, because we've been working on. Well, the upstroke is an interesting thing, isn't it? Because we've learned that it doesn't always have to come from parallel. But for me, when I'm playing the 25th rudiment, I think, let's see. See, I'm just going to. I'm just doing this.
Yeah.
I'm not turning to the ceiling. There's no need. Yeah, well, don't just blow that off.
Okay, fine.
Okay. Okay. So now put it up to 60. Let's see what it looks like there. Okay. You'll notice that in the library, the appoggiaturas are written let's see. Notice that they're smaller, aren't they?
Yeah.
Right? And they're in a different place on the staff. They're just a little bit higher.
Yeah.
Touching the bar line as opposed to being in between, touching the staff line as opposed to being exactly between two staff lines. So there is an indication, right? But aren't you just playing 16th notes? Which is another cool stroke. That's the RAF 25th rudiment. But this is written as not da 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 da. Let me see, da 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 da. Oh, wait a minute. Da 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 da. Okay, so there's two ways to play it. Okay, we can open up the appoggiatura, right? Which is kind of what you're doing. That's
what I was.
Or we can go. Both ways. So you have to decide, okay? So let's hear it. Let's hear it more open, which is what you were doing. check this out. Now this is kind of part of what we were discussing last time, right? Watch. Look at my right. You can really see it come to the floor and stop. Look at all this time. You seem to always be in motion. You're always in motion. It never comes to a stop. Yeah, it's like that. Right. See, I don't think that you're consistently at the floor, which took me forever to understand, or to feel, or to place correct importance on. Right? It's like floor schmo, you know, what's with this floor? Why can't I play fast or not? And no, it just doesn't work that way, right? So we really need to really come to the floor. See, even when it goes faster, it comes to a floor, but it's the floor that I've decided on, right? We're always going to come to that floor. That's the gig. Right, look how close you are to the surface now, like that. That's where you need to stop every time. Okay, put the metronome on up to, and go the other way first, by the way. Okay, now put it up to 72. That right's got to be more consistent. No matter how fast you go, or no matter how high you throw, it still has to come back to the floor, to the floor. Okay, so that's what you want to work on. Not bad. I don't think you should go any faster, or you're just going to promote the tendency to not wait at the floor. Okay, so let's take a look at the third iteration. Go ahead and just keep them at, you're at 72, right? Can you play this iteration at 72? Yes. On to the floor in the right. Left's better than your right. Interesting. Up. Right wants to stop. Sometimes it stops like almost 2 inches. Right there. Stop 2 inches high. There. Okay, you're going to need to work on that. Okay, and now we're at the. Okay, now for me, go back, put the metronome down to 60 for a minute, and let's just take a look at the Appoggiatura again. Okay. Okay, so you've been playing it more open. Okay, now. Now play it more open. Now play it more closed. Okay. So that's the idea of controlling the rebound. Okay. Now the way we get rebounds to occur more quickly. Let's see. Okay, we're just turning more quickly to go. That's Richard Martinez. You're turning more quickly. You don't have to do, everything will take care of itself. You don't have to squeeze. You don't have to do anything but turn your wrists more quickly. Now play it open. Da da ba ba ba. Now play it open. Da da ba 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 da da ba ba. Here you go. Now close it up. Good, Ref. Good. Okay, now we're up to the, okay, so you should practice both ways. You should practice with appoggiaturas that are more open and more close. Now, we've got the 25th rudiment, 4th iteration. The ba ba ba. So 72. I think you were up to at least 72.
Yeah.
Let's hear that.
Yeah, this is open, I suppose. Yeah. Okay. We're trying to always be at the floor. So don't let your right hand particularly wants to creep up. There, that's where it stops. Slow it down to 60. Down to 60 for a minute. Good. See, that right doesn't want to, let's see, so it's fiddling around with it. Let's see. See where it waits? Watch my right. Watch my right. Watch my right. Look, it's just waiting. There's a moment where it's not moving. Right there. On the left, same. Let's see.
right there. Even as it speeds up, there's time to wait. Okay, so we're not waiting up here. We're not bouncing for 2 notes and waiting here. For whatever reason that's happening, we're not quite sure. You could be squeezing. You could just be turning and lifting up. Whatever you're doing, it isn't just that. Remember, Raf, what we have is we have this 3-finger grip, right? We're going to maintain that. The 4th and 5th don't have much to do with it. They're just following the stick as the stick rocks over the fulcrum. Okay? Okay? The hand, the 4th and 5th are nice and relaxed and flexible. Okay, and are just following the stick. We don't need to pull with them. We don't need to do any weirdness. We just maintain this grip. Allow the 4th and 5th to follow the stick. Give it a try. If the 4th and 5th are following the stick, you should stop low. If you go pulling with them, often the tendency is for the stick to want to pop up. It wants to go up. Okay, play the stroke one more time at 60. Concentrate on that, right? There you go. Better, better. So you can creep it up, back up to 72, but I've spent some time at 60 looking for those nuances. I'd spend a bunch of time at 60 on all of the iterations so that you can notice whether or not you're stopping up in the air on your throw, whether you were in the 4th iteration, whether you're playing a double and stopping up in the air. Okay, that's what we want to be on the lookout for. Okay, now we have the compound stroke number 1. We have another stroke. Okay.
So it's a 25th rudiment, and then there's something else.
You got it.
Yeah.
Okay, this is where, as a chord drummer years ago, some of this stuff must be familiar. Right?
Yeah, this is 101 on corpse, right?
Okay, so let me hear this. No metronome. Let's just hear. It's going to be the same stuff. We're on the lookout for the same stuff.
Interestingly enough, the right one before the end, so after da 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 da, it doesn't feel that this is an upstroke because there's quite a lot of time.
Okay. You're thinking about this in terms of this particular technique. Okay, so it's sure. So watch. This is the 25th root of what we just ra da da.
Yeah,
isn't this the 25th rudiment, but without the middle note?
that's what I said, yeah.
Isn't it? I mean, if you look at the first iteration of the 25th rudiment, aside from the aside from the Appoggiatura beginning, you've got a right 16th note, then a left 16th note, and then a right accent. So if you if you omitted that left second, that left, which is the second note, instead of let's see, instead of instead of it would just be So it's the same speed. And then all you're going to do is put an Appoggiatura before the accent. In that sense, it's different. Dot, ya, dot, ya, dot, ya, So it is an upstroke.
Yeah.
At this speed, the speed you were playing it, I really want you to find your floor. Yeah, it's closer to the surface than you think. Right? Because when you show me the floor, you're always closer to the surface. Then you go to play and you lose that. That's good. Yeah. Now that you're so close to the floor, or now that you have a floor, right? That means we're always moving around this fixed point in the universe. Thank you, Richard Martinez. You see? We're always moving around this really low point, you see? If we lose that, now we're moving around somewhere else. It lacks the efficiency that makes this technique so special, right? So this much of a difference means you've lost the technique. If you lose your floor, you're not playing this technique because you're no longer moving around a fixed point in the universe. It's that big a deal, but you can do it. You've proved it. There, you're nice and low, right? Now, every time you go up, you don't need to turn to the ceiling. Look how close you are. Murray would say, you're so close to the surface. Here's my Murray imitation. You're so close to the surface, you can't help but make a note as you go up. See? But if you're not close to the surface and you lose your floor, how are you going to make a note on the way up? You'll probably get the tip. You won't get the bottom of the bead, Dick would scream. Bottom of the bead! But you're not going to turn you're going to lead with your arm. You're not going to you can't get the bottom of the bead if you don't lead with your wrist. Kevin, don't you understand that? My Dick Wilson imitation. Okay. So good. Okay, now let's find a tempo for this. Okay.
Probably not much different from what we had. Probably 60 or something.
Well, let's take it at 54. Your singles are good, by the way, left and right. You know, you've got your whole single hang-up issue. Your left has been stopping lower than your right today, and it's turning just as nicely as the right is turning for singles. Look, right? Okay, go ahead, put it up to We're at 54. Put it up to 72. Let's see what happens. I was a little faster than that just now. Now I was at 96. Go ahead and put it in 96.
What the hell?
See where you are. Can't lose your floor in the right. Ah, it's too fast. Too fast. You can. Dick would say, Kevin, you're just muscling it out, right? But it's good. You can get it up. I know. You can get it up. Kind of get it. Almost get it up to 92. So slow it back down. Put it at 80. You're stopping up in the air. You can't there. Right can't stop in the right there. Exactly. Oh, yeah, you caught yourself. Good. Go the other way. This is doable at 80. You're almost at 80. Okay. Good. Good. Okay, so we're going to take it to 80.
Okay.
Okay, so you have another stroke. So here's a new tune. Here's a new tune I wrote. You know, thinking about this upcoming record, if it all works out.
Yeah, I'm sure it will.
Called Iron Oxide. The long story. Okay.
Is that for real? Is that the name? you could have said the how is it how is it axis of Appoggiatura? How is it?
Apex.
The apex, exactly. That's why you should have called it mistakes, man, Kevin.
You know, I like to have something on stage to talk about when it comes to, well, you know, I came up. Sometimes the title of a tune can be communication with the audience, so it's kind of fun to have interesting things to talk about. Yeah. So let's take a look at stick control. Where are you in stick control right now? You're on page. We didn't get to that last time.
Page 6, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Was it? Funky. There you go. Okay, so how's that coming along?
Okay, so I mean, to be fair, I just wanted like these last weeks. I'm like, and you often don't do this. You only gave me the 25th, and that was it. I'm like, I'm just gonna put all my energy on the bloody 25th to kind of to nail it, which, you know, is not a bad thing. But let's take a look at it. Let's do it.
Okay, yeah, and clearly the concentration on the 25th rudiment helped, right? Paid off. But we want to cover as much as possible here and keep you moving through stick control.
Yeah, absolutely.
So let's see. interesting playing with the script. It's fun. Okay. So 72. Number 25.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's hear. So now I'm on number 28. Let's take a listen to notes here somewhere. I don't know. Hold on just one sec. Bless you. Okay, number 32.
Yeah.
Go to number 43. Good, Raph.
43. It's a classic funk groove, right? It's classic James Brown stuff, like David Garibaldi, that stuff. Like
throughout stick control, all kinds of cool things. Okay, so this one isn't working out as well for you. So it's right? You see where that can go. Okay. So go ahead and learn how to play it so that you're not up in the air. It's the same stuff. It's See, everything's down here. Everything stops here. Okay, and I think, and maybe I should have mentioned this on some of the other things you play too. We did 3, whatever that was. 1, 2, 3. You see, what we're doing is we're not digging into the surface. It's a turn that incorporates gravity. It's as relaxed as possible, right? So that we're not because what that does is that creates so much force, and now this might be part of what's going on. You're creating so much force, downward force, that the surface is creating excessive upward force, and the stick seems to want to not behave as it should.
Yeah, then it becomes harder to stop at the floor, right? Because you have more force coming up, right?
That is never at the floor. Up, your neck is never. You're not on a time either. But watch. Let's see. See? See when I'm waiting? Everything is here. See, what I'm worried about is it's not this, Raph. It's not this. It's this.
I'm doing that, Tom.
Just do this with me, Raph. Just do this with me. Now I'm only coming up about 5 inches. Just do this with me, in the right. Keep doing it. I want to figure out what you're doing. Keep going. I'm going to cut this. Keep going in time. Yeah, you see, I feel as though you're coming down a little faster than you're going up. Now we're pretty close to the surface, so it's not too easily distinguishable. But when I copied you, this is what I got. And I'm doing this. Look. I feel, it almost feels like this, Raph. See, and you're like this. Like you're gonna do this every time. And I'm doing this. So I just lift it up and let it come back, nice and relaxed. With that grip I told you about. Back two fingers have nothing to do with it. They're hanging out. They're moved by the stick. They're following the stick. But you have a 3-finger grip all the time. It's more gentle, isn't it? It's almost, imagine it being harder to go up than down. Try that. Just imagine it's harder to go up than down. It's heavy and then it falls. It's heavy and then it falls. So that's what the feeling is when you're playing this stuff. Like it does this. Just do this with me. Dum 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 dum. See how relaxed it is? how relaxed that is. Now you're turning twice. What is it? Let's see. Nice and relax. There you go. Now put the other hand on the surface. Get better. That's what you need to work on. Okay, so you're gonna work on page 6, second column, 37 to 48. Because that was harder for you than playing multiple rebounds, which is interesting. And I think because you're adding excess force, that helped you play multiple rebounds. But it's not quite right. Because if you can't go from playing multiple rebounds to that pattern you just played, the funk pattern, that says that there's something not quite operating right.
Yeah.
So what you did there at the end, see, was more relaxed.
Mm-hmm. It was.
And you were at the floor. You don't have to pound the thing through the surface. That's kind of always been the folklore behind this technique, right? Kevin, it's up to come down. It's up to come down, right? It's not the free stroke. So you're always going down and letting it bounce. That's not what this technique is. It's not this. It's this. Right. Try the other one. Let it bounce up, just for fun. No. Stay in the same hand, and now let it bounce up. Get the free stroke. Very popular with all the kids these days. Yeah, but keep going. Now just shove it down and let it bounce again. Go on, shove it down. There you go. Yeah, it's not that. I'm not saying that that's wrong. Okay, that's some other technique.
I think he's all about.
I'm not going after anybody here, right? Okay. Right. Good. Just lift it up, let it fall, maintain the script that I've described. Let's just take a quick look at doubles and roll strokes. Okay. Because essentially, it's a continuation of, let's see. What were we just doing? Here it is the other way. So it's down, bum, say, trying to come up with some clever exercise for you. I don't start with any double, do they? Oh yeah, that does. Oh no. Okay, there you go. We're still on page 6 of stick control. We're looking at exercise number 26. Metronome number 72. Let's hear that.
Say again, 76?
72.
72, yeah.
Typically 72 to 80, and
No, which one from the stick control? Sorry, I missed that.
Number 26.
Oh, 26, right.
Come play that. And then just go into doubles. Just go into doubles. Paper quietly. This is slow, but this is where Dick and Murray, I think Murray as well, would start. Look, I'm playing from. I'm like playing from parallel. That's good, Ralph. And then we're going to bring up the volume. Keep it right here at a 5-inch turn. Now bring it up. Come on, turn up to the ceiling. His grip. Remember, we're turning high. Okay, so I've kind of busted you. This is cool. Let's for me, it was a jumping off point because you were having problems adding excessive force on number 43, page 6. Well, then I took you to 26 with your improved approach, which involved had more to do about gravity. The idea that you just have to lift the thing up and let it come back, which softened up your attack, relaxed you. Yeah, and then from there we went into doubles. But I think let's keep them separate right now. But we're going to keep it at 72 because that's a good tempo, because that's the tempo we're working on playing combinations of doubles and sometimes 3 rebounds and singles. So there's continuity here again, okay? So metronome on at 72 again.
Yeah.
Only it wasn't really working, was it? Right? It really wasn't working. You played. You were able to play pianissimo, almost pianissimo, but when it came to really turning and making throws, it was done. Okay, I know, and I shouldn't have done that. I started to play doubles with throws, but really, all I was doing was turning. So we're just trying to get stuff out of the way, have a fulcrum, right? And be able to actually turn for doubles. Try it one more time, 72.
So you want me to
I want you to turn high. Let me see you do that. Look how I'm really coming up, huh? I could throw, but I'm not. And look where it stops. Watch. Right there. I double stop there. See? So that I can move around that fixed point in the universe. Get that? Okay, so that's not really happening yet. Not happening yet. Okay, so we're going on this. Can you do this? All right. Cool. Okay, we found another aspect of your technique that needs to be worked on. Okay, so let's just spend a minute on it. This is cool because a lot of it's coming together, right? You've got motions. You're thinking about when to make an upstroke. You're learning to stay low. You were able to play at 72 pretty quietly. Doubles. It's good. It's hard to do. Playing quiet is. That's what no one wants to. No one can.
It's true.
Yeah. What we're trying to do here is learn how to play the full dynamic spectrum, right? Like anyone else in a symphony orchestra, like every violinist in the symphony orchestra.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm not seeing. Let's see. How would I? Let's see. I can hear it. Can you hear the wind?
Mm-hmm.
I think I've frozen the camera. But so I'm 3-finger grip. 4th and 5th have nothing to do with it, but they're hanging out and they're touching the stick, right? Because they're just going to follow the stick. Okay? So I'm lifting up and creating. I'm creating some kind of momentum or torque. So what I also feel is I can almost feel the stick moving around the guide as I come up to here. It should swing through the guide.
Yeah. As
it rests in the fulcrum. We'll try that because it wasn't. You're saying yeah, but better. There you go. See, now the stick has a life of its own.
Mm-hmm.
That's better, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay? You don't have to think about very much at all. Just turning your wrist, coming to the floor, and the idea that it's flowing through the guide like that helps you too. See, once you can do that, okay, then I get that. Don't lose that feeling of the stick swinging through the guide at the top. Oh, not at the floor. It didn't rebound down to the floor. That's where it rebounds to. See, it does this. It does this. It does. Yeah, it does this. It comes back to the floor.
Mm-hmm.
How would it not come back to the floor if you just leave everything alone? It will work if you just follow this prescription. There you go. You don't have to open your hand at the floor. I'm not doing anything. I get to the floor. When I get to the floor, I feel what it feels like to touch the surface. Go ahead and touch the surface. A little relief of pressure on the palm. You touch. Okay. And then the stick is going to move around the middle finger, and the 4th and 5th are just going to be following it and doing nothing. Now, oh. Can you let it bounce? There, comes to the floor. Good. Now do that in the other hand. Good, see, that's better. There you go. Now go da-da, 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 da-da. There you go. Speed it up a little bit. And don't change a darn thing. Don't change a hair for me. Watch where your floor is in the right. All you have to do is remember this grip. Remember everything I just said. It should work. Don't forget the torque as you turn up. Still feel that torque. That's like for singles. Don't forget to turn nice and far so you feel that nice torque, that the momentum moving through the guide at the top.
But you're right. I feel when I do these strokes that my hand is not so much in control as if it's like a small one. It's easier like this for me than like this, because like the stick kind of bounces here to a certain extent, you know, here in the palm, right?
Where does the stick bounce in the palm?
Yeah, yours doesn't seem to bounce. That's the thing. Like does your stick ever leave the palm?
Sure it does. At this height. That's what I didn't talk about it because you were doing it at one point. Because if you develop a certain, right? Remember this one, Raph? Come on up. Come on up slowly. Look, stick is laying in the hand, isn't it? It's on the palm, isn't it?
Yeah.
Wait. Your baby finger isn't touching. I thought I said that the 4th and 5th did nothing if they're just alongside of the stick, kind of touching.
Not touching.
Yeah, mine are on the stick. In fact, the stick is laying in my hand. It's not laying in your hand. You're not quite getting what I'm showing you. Watch. Okay, so we're here, and then we're here, right? Take your thumb off. There. Yep, keep the first finger on. At a certain point, it's going to do this.
Yeah.
Right. When? Right about there. Okay? So, the stick is going to be on the palm, perhaps, just for remedial purposes. We'll need a ultra high-speed camera. But, right, so we know that the stick wants to stay on the palm until it gets right to about there. And it seems to come away just a little. Okay.
But it never leaves your middle finger, does it?
No.
It does not. Yeah, okay, fine.
Because the middle finger is the fulcrum.
Yeah, because I think like
it never leaves the 4th and 5th. And even though I'm up in the air here, the potential for it to just lay in the hand, it's there. It's still kind of laying in the hand, isn't it? It's touching everything. Everything's on. Look how connected I am to it.
Yeah, because I think when I was getting to this point, he would leave a bit the middle finger and then focus mostly on these two, which is wrong. It seems like it still continues on.
Good. Good. Now you're going to let it bounce and leave those 4th and 5th alone. They'll follow the stick, and you should end up at the floor like that. Okay? Not bad. Do it in the other hand. Do it in the other hand. Oh, you got 3 by mistake. See? There, it's working just fine. You're coming all the way up. So I'm going to leave you to this to work on.
Yeah.
At your own leisure. Okay? But the gig is we're going to play doubles and roll strokes at 72, going from pianissimo up to a full wrist turn. A maximum wrist turn, so that we're at what, double forte or whatever it is, right?
Yeah.
And what I'm going to have you do is I'm going to have you play at a pianissimo volume at 72 and play accents that would be appropriate for that speed, right? Mm-hmm. In other words, you're not going to play pianissimo accent, pianissimo, and then play, I'm not asking you to play forte accents. The accents will be, in terms of volume, relative to the volume of the doubles you're playing. Then you're going to come up, right? Maybe 5-6 inches. You're going to play roll strokes there, doubles and roll strokes, and you're going to make accents that are appropriate relative to the volume you're getting from a 6-inch turn. Then you're going to turn higher, maybe to that point where it doesn't come away from the, where it's still not coming away from the palm. And then you're going to play accents there, right? Right? Because it's just going to be bop, bop. See, down here it's bop, 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 bop. Up here, it's bop, bop, da 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 da. Up here, da 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 bop, 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 da 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 da. And when you're up here, da 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 bop, da 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 da. See, da 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 da. You got to maintain and it would look like that. And there's that big throw that we worked on as well. So we have you now gaining access to different dynamic levels, playing doubles, and you are gaining access to making throws at different volumes because they have to be volume appropriate relative to the volume of the doubles you're playing. So that's going to give you a lot to consider. I think it should be very helpful. Good, man. You're welcome.